You get a lot of stuff, let me tell you. Well, you don't even see probably half of the stuff.
Okay, good evening, everyone. It is 5 PM, November 18th, 2024, and it's time to call the Board of Public Works and Safety meeting to order. Ms. Sunheimer, roll call. Here.
Present.
Present.
Thank you, ma'am. Okay, thank you. Mr. Brett Jones has something under announcements and public comments that did not get to the agenda that we probably need to try to take care of.
Yep, appreciate it. Thank you, sir. I owe a follow-up to this board from a year ago. I noticed in the minutes. A year ago, you approved the purchase of 2 generators, one for here at City Hall and then one for the Parks and Rec building. And I owed you a follow-up on installation process and selection of a vendor. So I just wanted to update you on that. As we expected, the generators were delayed. They were supposed to be here in August. They got here the last week of September, I believe, right, Jason? So understanding that they were delayed, in August, I did send out an RFQ to 3 local vendors, electricians, that have obviously experience in installation of gensets. I actually did not receive a response back from 2 of them, and that was Shepherd Electric and Welch Electric. Excuse me, and then Dan Davis, Davis Electric, him and Brandon Lugers, did respond, but told me that their original proposal from basically a year ago, last October, was still in good standing. So with that, we did decide to move forward with them. So I don't know that I technically need Board of Works approval, but I at least wanted to follow up because it was in the minutes that I would come back to this board and keep you in the loop on what's going on. Selfishly, I'm glad that Dan was kind enough to keep the quote the same, and honestly, he was very helpful at no charge in the beginning, because I'm obviously not an electrician. So his assistance in understanding where we needed to put them and understanding what we really needed to do to get this project completed was very helpful. So for the record, the generator installation proposal for the Parks and Rec was $46,886. The proposal or the quote for installation here at City Hall was $22,142. So Jason and myself have met with Dan on both locations. You'll see a nice new concrete pad out here where it will be sitting. And they've done a great job, I think, of communicating and being respectful to time and what could be limited good weather remaining. So we're hoping to get this done here in the next couple weeks. Like I said, this pad's poured. They started to pour the pad over at Parks and Rec today. If you remember, this one will be natural gas because we do have service right here on the side of the building. The transfer switch will go there on the corner where all the rest of the Duke Energy power comes into this facility. At Parks and Rec, there's a ginormous transformer on the south side of their facility. We will be adjacent to that with the transfer switch. And then on the southeast corner, to avoid all of Chip's lovely windows on the south side, will be positioned on the southeast corner of that building to not be in the way of all those windows. So
Brett,
trying to minimize aesthetics.
would you refresh my recollection? Did we approve the Davis bid back then?
We approved the purchase of the generators through Sourcewell and then said that the minutes, I believe, said that we would come back closer to arrival of the generators to make sure that we were getting accurate bids.
So do you need the board's approval then today for us to go forward?
I mean, if you want to approve it officially, it'd probably be good. I think the funding at this point, we're planning on it coming out of CCD, so it's not something that's technically an MVH or LRS purchase, so
Right,
it
but
would
we
probably be
still-
wise
We
to.
still need to have it approved by the
Approval.
Board of Works.
Okay.
And the record's going to reflect you did 3 RF
Yep,
quotes,
Yep.
and only 1 was responsive.
only one was responsive,
And-
correct.
Okay, thank you.
And
Yep.
Brett, I'd like to add too, just to refresh everybody's memory, the reason that
Yeah, yeah.
we decided, are you getting to that, the reason we decided to get the generators?
Yeah, so obviously City Hall, key place of business, but also in the not-so-distant future, I think, right, Mr. Littleton, we're looking to move additional IT servers here. Obviously, there's some here now. So this is a pretty critical point for being able to conduct city business in the event of no power. And then Parks and Rec, because it is a storm shelter, and obviously just a huge place of commerce for the city. And so that's why these two facilities were chosen as key locations that needed backup power. Obviously DPW, myself, we already have gen sets at our facilities, so we felt like these were the 2 facilities that really needed to be able to be operational in an instance where there was no power, so.
Can you read into the record the amount of the quote that we received?
For installation?
Yes.
Yes. Parks and Rec Center, installation $46,886. And then City Hall installation, $22,142.
And those were the only responsive
Those were the only
responses we received.
responsible bidders.
Thank you.
I don't have any more questions. Do you?
No.
Okay. And I apologize. Jason's sitting in for me. I've got to leave. I've got another event I need to be at. But I was typing him an email what I wanted him to say, and I got really guilty about forcing him to do this tonight. So I felt like it was at least I could do to be here for the first 5 minutes.
So I'll move to approve Davis Electric as the most responsive and responsible bidder for the installation of the generators.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Thank you, Brett.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
Okay, and I think, Josh, you have something, and just for the record, we don't want to make a habit of getting up
It
without
makes
being
me
on the-
crazy.
Yeah,
It
so.
makes me crazy.
Just for the record, we don't do this every time. Thank you.
Yes, I'm here on behalf of the Elks Lodge. It was brought to my attention the other day, we have our a vendor coming in, Deli Drake, that comes every year and sells assorted meats and cheeses and everything, and we usually get reserved the front 2 parking spots for his vehicle that he brings, all that stuff in there, so this would be tomorrow between 4 PM and 8 PM, so.
The 2 parking spots in front of the Elks.
4 to 8, right?
Do it now?
4 to 8?
Yes.
Okay.
So we've been doing that every year for
many
consistently for
years.
a few decades.
I'll move to approve reservation of the 2 parking spaces in front of the Elks on Tuesday, November 19th.
Okay, I will second. We have a motion and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Okay, thank you, Josh. All right, is there any other announcements and public comments that should be used right now? Hearing none, we will go on to the consent agenda.
Move to approve the minutes from November 4th meeting, plus the approval of claims.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Okay, there isn't any old business. We'll go right into new business. Request approval of agreement with Ring Central, formerly Mitel, for VoIP Telephone Services IT Director Rick Littleton and Matt Sprout. Thank you, Matt.
Yes.
First, tell us what VoIP is.
Voice over IP.
Okay.
So you're used to the old phone system you plug in. Voice over IP is your phone plugs into the same network as your computer does. So it uses the internet protocol to reach out. One of the ideas behind, especially with Ring Central, is it's all IP based. It's really cloud based, right? So the all the management that Rick does would be maintained in the cloud. Rick will tell you that Ring Central purchased out Mitel. Mitel is the current phone system that the city uses, and so it's time to renew. If we would choose to do something other than Ring Central, we're buying all new handsets and going that route. Rick and his team have done a wonderful job in confirming and making sure the information's secure and being able to do that. Rick, I'll let you attest to the process you used. Go ahead.
Now, we've been speaking with Mitel for some time. They did confirm that with the acquisition by Ring Central, that they would continue to support that, but they will now no longer further develop that. They're recommending that we go ahead and migrate our platform to the Ring Central platform. In doing so, there's no requirement, as Matt said, to change out all of our hardware or anything like that. There would just be some firmware updates necessary to the phone. I might add that our first agreement with Mitel was a 36-month agreement. We pay, before surcharges and fees, so all the federal fees, we pay for the location services approximately $3,400 presently. This will actually be a slight savings, approximately $2,800 now instead. Again, the surcharges and fees, they're not insignificant, but the service itself comes at a slight savings. And again, we've confirmed that it will work with our existing hardware and what we're already using.
Plus, if I recall from our telecommunications meeting, both these gentlemen thoroughly reviewed these things. Then they send the legal documents to me. If I recall, there were, because of the purchase between Ring Central and Mitel, they were really trying to make an effort to keep the existing clients that Mitel already had. So I believe Matt and Rick talked to them about getting some credits that were on the bill. And how much was that we? It was almost $10,000.
It was a substantial amount, and that was just a great partnership between the city and Mitel and bringing back Ring Central. Ring Central can be complicated, right? It's out in the cloud, but because the city already owns Mitel, that migration should be a little easier. They were going to charge us for it, but through negotiations, we've substantially decreased that. You're correct.
Does the school have the same company?
We do not.
Okay.
It was different needs for both entities.
Okay, thank you.
And Lynn, I understand that you sent some legal edits?
I did. As I said, Rick and Matt got me the contract earlier. It's the typical, here's our boilerplate contract. We're kind of non-negotiable with it. It does differ from the Mitel one we had. I sent back some language I didn't particularly care for. Ultimately, given how much we're going to save, given the ease of migration by not changing systems, nothing that we couldn't live with, but I thought we might try to see if they would change some of what you get with a lot of these companies is they will give you a very basic purchase order. And then they'll always have a line that says, and subject to the use and terms and conditions that you'll find on our website, which in this case, I think was 76 pages.
Wow.
And that's where all the details always is. And they don't usually negotiate those much, but that's what I always try to look for and say, is there anything in here we cannot live with? Are we paying taxes when we shouldn't be paying taxes? That kind of thing. So there was some language that I pushed back on, but I do think we probably have to enter into some kind of arrangement just for us to keep running as smoothly as it's running.
So should our approval be based on your language edits?
Thank you. Yeah, if you would, if you'd be so kind. Yes, thank you.
Okay. So I will move to approve the agreement with Ring Central for VoIP telephone service, with the caveat that we ensure the legal edits that were proposed are considered.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Thank you, Matt. Appreciate it.
Yes,
Need to
absolutely.
Include authorizing the mayor to sign on behalf of the board upon Lynn's approval.
So let's edit that motion.
Yeah, we'll amend the motion.
Yeah,
Edit
amend
the
that.
motion.
Amend the motion to include the mayor's authority to approve the contract on the board's behalf.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.
Thank you, Rick.
Uh-huh.
All right, item number 2, requesting approval to move forward with selling, transferring seized, abandoned, and forfeited guns to Keisler Firearms Supply Company pursuant to SOP 1.16.1, Section C, number 2B. Deputy Police Chief Scott Summers.
Thank you, Mayor. Yeah, we're just looking for approval to move forward as you stated, to trade these firearms into Keesler's for credit in the amount of $2,800, $2,820 to be exact. And that will be used for us to have a credit to purchase new guns in the future for our guys. And these guns have come into the police department in a myriad of ways, most of them being surrendered or forfeited. Most of them have court orders for us to do that, and then in accordance with our SOP, it directs us to do those types of things. So we're just asking to move forward and get credit to get our guys new equipment.
And when we drafted our SOP, and you folks approved the SOP, we'd made reference to the provision, statutory provision allows us to do that under IC 522-22-6. A governmental entity may dispose of property that's been in its possession, and if the total collective amount is less than $5,000, they can do it with a trade-in to get credit for the benefit of the governmental entity. So I would ask that you approve the request pursuant to the SOP and 522-22-6.
Okay, just one quick question, Scott, and I could ask you this morning. Is there a timeline you have to keep them before you can do this? 1 year? Okay, thank you.
Well, great question. It depends. Generally, I mean, how we get them, generally 1 year. But there may be instances which will be short of that, but there's a court order authorizing the seizure, authorizing the disposal. So people just bring them in and drop them off and leave them, generally 1 year. But there are sometimes exceptions depending on how they come into our possession.
Okay, thank you.
Lynn, can you repeat that?
Yeah, it's IC 5-22-22-6, authorizing disposal of abandoned property.
I'll move to approve the sale and transfer of the seized, abandoned, and forfeited guns to Keisler's Firearms Supply Company in compliance with Indiana Code 5-22-22-6.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. We'll go on to item number 3, request approval and change order number 07 for the Active Adult Center project, and authorize Mayor Barnett to sign the change order on the board's behalf. City Engineer Mark Richards.
Thank you, Mayor. We have a change order that's been submitted for undercutting costs on the poor soils that were in place from, what was there in the past, Mayor? Was it a school?
Yes, it was a grade school.
Okay, and the mayor explained this morning that when that was torn down, they didn't remove the foundation materials. So that's caused some problems with construction. We anticipated this as part of the design process, and we included an allowance of $165,000 for removing those poor materials. We did actually go a little bit over. The total amount was $250,870.77. So this change order, subtracting out the allowance, is for $85,870.77. The original contract price was $4,744,616. This change order is about 1.8% of that amount. When you add in the other previous change orders of about $103,854.88, that brings us to about a 4% increase, so we're well below the 20% that's allowed. The revised contract amount with this change order will be $4,934,341.65.
3.996 to be exact.
Yep.
Yep.
I didn't go to that many decimal places.
Only
But
because
thank
it's
you.
on the phone that way.
And Mark, just for the record, I mean, we're not anticipating any more big change orders from
We are
this
not,
point.
unless there are changes to the design that are requested by the Parks Department.
Okay. I mean, there may be something small, but we're not anticipating.
That's correct. And just to give you an idea of what the contractor thought the amount might be, that he estimated anywhere from $800,000 to $1.2 million for removal of these poor soils. And so we were able to, through inspection, keep a close eye on that. And that inspection cost, we had a gentleman from Alton Witzig Engineering to be on site full-time when this undercutting was being completed, and that cost, the cost in this change order includes his time.
Mark's being humble because he and Matt spent a tremendous amount of time going, go back and do it again, go back and do it again. A lot of parking lot conversations between Mark and I know he wasn't going to bring you something that had the initial numbers that they had there, so thanks, Mark, for
And
really hitting.
you're right,
hitting
Matt is a tremendous help on this. He's a great asset to the city.
Yeah.
Thank you, Mark.
Thank
And
you.
I think it's Chip, you're telling me, as of now, it's a little bit ahead of schedule, isn't it?
Yep, so far, yep.
All right. Move to approve change order number 7 for the Active Adult Center project and authorize Mayor Barnett to sign the change order on the board's behalf.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Okay, last item, request to file liens on unkept property. I will make a motion to approve as presented.
Second.
Motion and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, next item, department reports. Chip, let's just start with you.
Great. Next big event coming up would be the holiday lighting, which will be downtown. I heard it was going to snow that day, so I'm totally kidding. I don't know about that at all. But we'll hope for. And we're working on the concert series for next year already. We have about 90% of it booked. You'll see that coming pretty soon. A lot of people up here see it before everybody else does, so that's it. That's all I got.
Deputy Chief?
Yeah, thank you, Mayor. I just want to kind of throw this out to the public that as a reminder, on December 11th at 5 p.m., it will be the Franklin Police Department's 7th annual wrapping party to conclude our toy drive for the year. So hope to see you all there.
Thank you guys for doing that. That's pretty cool.
We love it. It's fun. It's great. Yeah.
Okay.
And that's on the 11th of December, you said?
Yep, December 11th at 5 p.m.
Chief Snyder?
We have been working since the last meeting on getting everything moved in. We're getting very close. We're waiting on some manufacturers to get us some stuff where we had to wait to order, and there's been some delays with that, but we're very close to, guys have started moving their personal stuff in. They've worked all day in there today, and we're gonna be working the rest of the week on it. So I'm getting Station 21 opened up.
Do you have a goal to try to work out of it?
Well, we're shooting for this week to have an open house, but the goal is for the guys to start running out of there this weekend.
Okay,
So-
good deal. Thank you.
Yep.
Sherry?
I don't have anything tonight, thank you.
Okay, thank you. Rick?
I don't have anything additional.
Krista?
Just one quick item. The first Friday in December is the evening before the holiday lighting and winter market. And so Discover Downtown Franklin wanted to put out luminaries on the sidewalk. So just the small like bags with the battery, they're battery operated, just kind of as a lead up to the event the next day. So since those were going to be in the sidewalk, I thought I should bring that up to you all. They would be on Jefferson Street, mainly between like the railroad tracks and Jackson, and then around the courthouse, and then depending on how many more they have, they would kind of go out from there. But we have volunteers ready to put those out and collect those up. So just wanted to ask permission to do that.
I'm okay with it.
Okay. Ken?
Sounds great.
Move to approve the placement of luminaries the Friday before the holiday lighting ceremony.
Second.
Motion and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Anything else?
Nope, thank you.
We're in the middle of leaf pickup right now. Everything's on schedule. Brush pickup's slowing down quite a bit. And as Rhett talked about earlier, the pad for City Hall generator's done. We're just waiting for Davis to get it set and run their utilities for that. The one at the Parks Department got dug today, so as soon as Davis puts their conduit in for their utilities, we'll get it poured, hopefully this week.
Okay. Tell your guys they're doing a great job.
Good.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Mark?
The Paul Hand Graham Road Roundabout opened last Wednesday evening. That's working very well. We're going to have a pre-bid meeting tomorrow for the Paul Hand Road reconstruction project between the new roundabout and the railroad. And we'll open bids on December 3rd for that. The US 31 project NDOT will hold their letting for that on December 11th. And then we did receive an award of about $611,000 for the second call for the Community Crossings Matching Grant Program for 2024. So we'll be sending out bid documents next month and plan to open bids in January for that.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
Sally?
Just a few things. Our plant guys are working really hard to button things up, get oil changed in some equipment before it gets really cold. And the collection guys are doing the same, getting the lift stations cleaned up and ready for winter. So, ready for the cold weather.
Thank you. Liv, do you have anything? No, sir. Tara? Gwen?
I'm going to go on record objecting to cold weather, but other than that, I'm okay.
A second.
Ken?
I don't have anything, Mayor. Thank you.
Nothing. Thank you.
I don't have anything but praise to our people. They do a great job. Thank you. Motion to adjourn.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Thanksgiving.
I am a friend.